and issues in OT education. And for the month of May, our topics will focus on telehealth.
Okay, so last episode we talked about how we could deliver hand therapy using telehealth, and that was a very informative session
Yes.
because typically we wouldn't really be thinking of hand therapy being delivered through telehealth. But
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, our esteemed resource persons gave us some strategies. They shared to us their experiences, and indeed, with some improvisation, with some contextualization, we could still deliver it even here in the local setting. So, for this session, we will be exploring another form of telehealth. We keep on exploring the synchronous form. So for
Mm-hmm.
today's session, it will be on asynchronous telehealth, particularly onto the provision of home program to the children and to the caregivers. So somehow we will be having an idea now. How should we be giving home programs using telehealth? Would it be the same or would there be any difference? So maybe Carol, you could introduce to our viewers our esteemed resource persons for today's
Yes.
episode.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kim. So let me introduce our guests, speakers for this afternoon. We are lucky to have them with us. As everybody has now been navigating through this new normal, we are lucky to have our guest speakers who have recently um, jumped the gun to test out this new normal, especially in our field of occupational therapy. So to share their insights with us, we have first Mr. Ruel Solitario, an occupational therapist who has over 14 years of experience working in pediatric and adolescent populations. He is working in Haven of Learning Tutorial and Therapy Center in Quezon City, a graduate of University of Philippines, Manila. And just like most of us have started telehealth this March 2020. Yes. And hi, Sir Ruel. And then we have another guest to join us. Another speaker would be Janela Canha. Hi, Janela. Okay, from a graduate of University of Santo Tomas. Janela has almost 8 years experience in geriatric and pediatric settings. She is affiliated in 2 therapy centers, one in Plaridel, Bulacan, and another in Cabanatuan in Nueva Ecija. So thank you for joining us. Thank you to our speakers, and welcome to the OTalakayan.
Yes, and I think our viewers are very interested as to how this asynchronous telehealth would be delivered.
Yes.
So for our first question, maybe we can know what were your considerations in resorting to asynchronous telehealth?
Mm.
Roel or Nella?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. With the pandemic that we encountered and experiencing right now, we are forced to adjust. So most of the therapists, even in our center, we resorted to the synchronous type of model. But there are instances that the live online therapy session is not applicable to some clients. So with with the clients that we have encountered, there are 3 factors that we we s- we notice that they are having that we have to consider before we recommend the uh, 3 factors. That's why before we recommend the live session. So we recommend asynchronous telehealth or the home program. Number one, for technology reasons, um, may mga clients kami na um, from the lockdown, umuwi sila ng probinsya. So walang signal, may internet. And then, another factor, hindi nila dala yung mga devices nila or walang available device to cater the live session. Another factor is the work from home situation of parents. So, iniisip natin, lockdown nga, so dapat nasa bahay yung mga parents. Pero since work from home din sila, katulad natin, hindi rin nila minsan nasisingit dun sa schedule nila yung therapy sessions. And then, the last factor is the child's readiness. May mga bata na, okay, during the actual session, kaya nating i-control, i-command, i-manipulate with just verbal prompts, kaya nating paupuin. Pero, siguro napansin na din ninyo, hindi siya ganun kadali with the telehealth. Mas madaming prompts ang ginagawa natin ngayon, and then factor kasi na hindi tayo physically kasama ng bata. So, pag live session, hindi nila kayang tumagal ng isang oras na nakatingin lang sa laptop, or kahit pa may activities, hindi sila ganun nakakapag-pay attention. So, ayun. And then, isa pang factor, hindi lahat ng bata kaya yung required na manipulation skills for the laptop. Like, kailangan mag-annotate, kailangan mag-share ng screen, kailangan mag-open ng browser. So, may required skills yung live therapy session bago masabi na applicable siya sa bata. So, yun, with our center, yun yung tatlong factors na kino-consider namin bakit nag-home program kami. So, technology reasons, work from home situation ng parents, and yung child's readiness.
Okay, thank you, Rovel. So I think that could really guide our fellow OTs whether one would resort to synchronous or asynchronous. How about for you, Nella? Were those the same considerations or other considerations that your center has to follow when it comes to choosing asynchronous?
Well, for us po, so basically we're talking right now about asynchronous telehealth. So first and foremost, I just wanna there. So I just want to say hello to everyone, to Terra Talk, to all my colleagues and friends and family. So I hope everybody's safe. So for us naman po, I guess I would start with all of us, like all occupational therapists, already have an idea of what home program really is. We've been doing this ever since our internship, or maybe when we're in college, we're taught to actually do a home program to be provided to our clients. However, for us, we've also determined what are other factors that could be factored out in providing home program. So, I've included, it's as technical as it can be, but we also have to be reminded of the domain and process of the OT practice framework. So, bukod dun sa plan of actions that we're gonna provide for all our clients or their families, we also have to take into consideration the performance patterns in the context and the environment of our clients, specifically their routines, their roles, and its impact for their occupational participation. And as our process, we've always been doing this, like collaborate with our clients and their families. But at this time of the pandemic, it's important for us to emphasize more on the collaboration between the therapist and the family, especially those who's gonna provide the home program. So as such, it's been defined or probably provided by the AOTA that it's important for us to explain the routine and the purposeful or the participation of meaningful activities for all our clients and their families. Maybe kamustahin sila, how are they doing, possibly what the impact of this pandemic is to their occupational participation, and not only them but also us as professionals, how are we able to or capable to provide these home programs for them. So for us, our considerations are as follows. So what happened really is, for us, the clinic management provided us a draft or of the guidelines based on the ECQ or based from the Therapy Association guidelines. So they drafted the guidelines for us consultants to follow, and they used that as part of, or maybe a guideline as well, for the informed consent. So they've informed us, updated us of those guidelines. So for the technical consideration, it's as minimal, or it's minimal as compared to synchronous type. So we really want at least a data or an internet connectivity for the family or the parents to at least receive the home program. So even that, we also wanted at least a way for us to communicate, either probably a phone call, a video call. So it's minimal as compared to synchronous type of service delivery. So with clinical decision making, it's already been given to us consultants that it's up to us to decide who really needs synchronous or asynchronous type of service provision. So the timing really here involves what are the risks, what are the benefits, who would benefit from this type of service provision. And the ethical consideration would be, are we competent enough to provide these programs to them, even though it's a contextualized plan of action, but the activity that's provided there, are we competent enough to train the clients, or are we certified to do those things? So we have to consider that, including our documentation, how are we gonna provide the feedback, how are we gonna monitor the release of this whole program, and all of those things. So for us, in here in Bulacan and Cabanatuan City, it's what we've included. So there.
Okay, thank you, Roel and Nella, for that. So they have identified many factors to consider if one is to choose synchronous or asynchronous telehealth. So they have mentioned about technology. They have mentioned about the time of the parents. Some would need to work and some wouldn't really have the time to deliver it in their homes. And the factors when it comes to the client should also be considered, because some children or some clients wouldn't really be able to tolerate an hour-long session with synchronous telehealth. So we need to consider those things. Do you have a question to follow that up, Carol?
Yeah, I guess that's really a concern also. When we choose between, are we going to do synchronous or asynchronous? And tama kasi because it's sort of like when we do our face-to-face sessions, we are there present with the kid. So it's more parang yung mga sessions natin mas easy yung flow, and we sort of have control over the situation, right? So because of this situation that we have now, and with the delivery of services through telehealth, and especially in an asynchronous environment, what would be the role of the primary caregivers or the parents in this mode of telehealth? Kasi nagre-rely tayo sa kanila ngayon because we are not there with the kid. So maybe our speakers can share with us some.
Okay. Well, for us, again, speaking for our clinics here, the roles of primary caregivers would be to collaborate with the therapist. This includes the goal setting. So, what is our goal right now? What do you really need right now? So, those are the things that you have to consider when it comes to collaboration. And also, you have to communicate with the primary caregiver needs to communicate with the therapist in terms of their concerns, what are their expectations when it comes to this type of service delivery, probably kamusta sila, how they are, their situations maybe. So, basically, kamusta sila and their concerns. So, it's also important to have the communication of the primary caregiver to other family members, because in home program we have to consider the physical environment and the social context, right? So like for example, you have a 30-minute home program activity, so you may ask or request other family members to maybe like minimize the noise of the environment, or maybe you can use the sala for the home program activities. So that's important to actually communicate with other family members, or rather maybe you could ask them to help you provide those activities, including documentation of those tasks. And it is also the role of the primary caregiver to provide and prepare available materials. So I would just emphasize here that it's important for us to use available materials, so it's safe for everybody. They don't need to buy those materials, so make it functional as much as possible. That's why here you really have to talk to them about all of those things before you make the home program. So, and that, I guess, the primary caregiver would also be the one facilitating and documenting the activity. So, after that, possibly discuss concerns and observations with therapists. So, these are 5 of the primary roles of the caregiver. However, I would also just add here the roles of the therapist. So, other than probably collaborate, communicate, and facilitate the whole program, it's important for the therapist to build the relationship with the family, because it's one way for you to determine the concern, their situation, their real situation is, and to have a better home program. So, yun po.
Right. Thank you, Nella. That was very informative. So much pala, ang dami palang role ng caregivers ngayon because of this setup. Right. I guess I'd like to highlight what you said about the materials, and thinking about the practicality also of the materials that would be needed for these sessions, or for their sessions at home rather. Well, maybe you'd like to add.
Excuse po, Sir When, no audio po.
Ayan, sorry. Ayan, sige. Ayan, ayan, in terms of primary caregiver, yung ginagawa namin, may trial session muna kami to determine whether the family is fit, whether the child and the family is fit for synchronous or asynchronous. So, may pre-session muna, interview the family, ano ba yung current concerns nila kasi nabago yung routine eh. So, yung whatever therapy plan that we had na clinic-based, medyo mababago siya. So, ayun, mag-identify muna ng concerns. Pag nakita namin na ay parang hindi pa ready yung family, so shift kami muna dun sa asynchronous, so home program. Ano yung roles ng caregiver? Ayun, set ng goals, set of the environment. So based basic na criteria natin doon, safe, well-lit, well-ventilated, tapos fit for the set goal. So hindi siya limited sa study area lang or sa play area lang. Kasi magandang opportunity yung telehealth practice natin na to para i-address yung mga usually hindi natin na-target sa clinic, which is the self-help. So nandun na sila sa actual setting nila. So biglang context specific yung mga gagawin nating strategy sa mga bata. And then another thing, so with the asynchronous telehealth or the home program, hindi naman siya limited with the document. So encourage ang lahat na magbigay din ng mga links ng mga video, mga worksheets. So compared with the usual na home program na binibigay prior to COVID, mas multimedia yung in-offer dapat natin ngayon na HP. And then, execute intervention strategies. And obviously, sila yung teachers ngayon. And before din kami mag-enroll ng bata sa HP, in-explain namin itong mabuti. Kasi may expectation yung mga parents na whether HP or live therapy session na uupo lang doon yung bata. Parang kailangan namin explain na sila yung magiging teacher sa bahay. Sila yung magiging therapist sa bahay. So, ayun, dapat clear sa kanila na sila yung mag-execute ng intervention strategies. And then yun, nasabi din ni Nela kanina, sila yung mag-monitor ng progress. Tapos, gusto ko yung sinabi ni Nela about the materials. Kasi, although nag-ease yung paglabas-labas ngayon, medyo nagiging traffic na, pero mas maganda, easily accessible or ready sa bahay nila yung materials. So, may ganitong materials checklist kaming binibigay. Ito, galing to dun sa isang OT group din. So, naka-upload to, papasagutan sa parents, tapos may reminder na, ayun, there's no need to purchase any specific items. And then, dinagdagan na lang din namin to ng iba pang mga whatever pa na device na or items na gusto namin i-survey. Kasi hindi na-realize ng parents na yung unan pala nila sa couch, pwedeng gamitin therapy material. Yung mga mats nila, pwede palang gamitin for exercise. Yung mga tissue roll pala, marami palang pwedeng gawin doon. So, ayun, kailangan ma-realize din nila na yung bahay nila mismo, it's the environment na best para i-therapy yung anak nila, i-develop yung whatever na skills. Ayun.
Okay, thank you, Rovel. So we have really learned that the giving of a home program is not really just passing a document or giving that document to the parent. We need to have a lot of considerations in place, the materials, the setup, and even clearly identifying their roles and really explaining to them the crucial role that they would now be having because of telehealth. Now, maybe the viewers would want to have an idea, how is asynchronous telehealth done? So probably from the start, from the trial, or from the giving of your informed consent, and as to how you're going to run it, can you give the viewers an idea how you run an asynchronous telehealth session? Maybe we could start with Roel.
Okay. So na-mention ko kanina, nag-start kami with the trial. So, after ng trial, ma-determine na yung bata ay for home program muna, nagsisend kami ng documents, consent form, and policies. So doon, nakadetalye yung program, ano yung mga reminders sa kanila, like the reminders na that program specific to their child only, na hindi siya applicable sa lahat. Dinesign lang siya for that child. So after nila mabasa, pipirmahan nila yon, and then pipicture na lang nila yung sign na part, tapos isasend nila sa amin. Yung may mga clients na walang printer, ina-accept na namin na yung part ng consent form na they agree, pinapasulat namin, handwritten na lang, tapos signature nila, and then date, tapos picturean ulit nila, tapos i-send nila sa amin. So, yun yung mga strategy namin para mag-acquire ng consent nila. And then, dun sa consent form din, nandun na rin yung ano yung mga reminders about sa billing, sa kung may concerns sila, paano magre-reach out, and then pati yung mode ng yung mode ng payment. And then after they settle the payment, so online banking tayong lahat, mag-set na ng schedule. So, bukod dun sa trial session, as needed, nag-schedule pa kami ng isa pang another session for interview or goal setting. Although ito, ang instructions namin sa mga therapist, dun sa trial session, gawin na din to. And then, after that, mag-send ng materials for material survey, yung pinakita ko kanina, personal survey, sino yung mga tao sa bahay na pwedeng makatulong during the session, and sino yung magiging primary na mag-handle sa bata. And then, we also encourage the parents to submit pictures and videos. So, kung ang concern nila ay brushing ng teeth, actual video na nagtututbrush yung bata, or kung kayang isingit dun sa interview na ipakita na nagtututbrush yung bata. Tapos, kung ang concern ay pagbibihis, so actual video, tapos pictures. And then, of course, gagawin yung HP, dun sa policy namin, within 1 week, dapat masend yung HP. So, after the interview, we give the therapist 1 week. Before, mas matagal yung allowance. Pero since home-based naman lahat, tapos since immediate yung need ng mga families ngayon na kailangan ng help kagad, so ayun, yun yung palugit namin sa mga therapist namin. And then, after that, i-send yung HP, video links, and worksheets. Tapos, binibigyan namin yung parents ng 1 or 2 days para basahin yung home program. And then, kukontakin namin sila kung ready na sila kasi we have another video call para i-explain yung mga techniques. So, kung ano yung mga tinatarget na goals, tapos ano yung paano nila i-monitor. And then, after 1 week, may follow-up na call ulit. Ano yung feedback naman, kung kumusta yung progress ng bata. And then, currently, yung home program namin sa center namin, good siya for 2 weeks. Naririnig ko yung iba, merong good for 1 week, yung iba, good for longer periods of time. So, ayun, magva-vary na lang yung flowchart na to, depende dun sa mapagkasundoan or iset na guidelines ng center. Tapos, ayun, yung content ng home program, and 5 parts usually yung content ng home program namin. So, goals to target, brief explanation ng target skills, suggested techniques, yung schedule, tapos yung monitoring chart. So, sa goals to target, since 2 weeks yung home program namin, sample ng home program na cover, 2 to 3 skills yung pinapatarget namin sa mga parents, since iti-train sila kung paano i-handle yung specific na skills na yun. So, hindi feasible within 2 weeks yung mag-set ka ng madami. Kung depende dun sa bata, pwedeng isang skill lang muna talaga. So, sample ng mga goals na ito-target. Tapos, ito, available to online, brief explanation ng technique, what is SI, what is behavior management, tapos ito yung sample ng strategies na pwede nilang gawin. With this specific client kasi, pinapractice yung paggamit ng visual schedule. So with the home program I released, it's mostly pictures. So yung binigay ko din na suggested schedule sa kanila, it's a visual schedule na rin. So ito, again, explanation what is behavior management, sample strategies, tapos a sample home behavior plan. So ito, specific dun sa bata. So, kaya right now, puro clients muna kasi mas madaling gumawa ng behavior plan pag kilala mo yung bata. So, pag pag bago yung student, medyo mas mahirap i-develop yung behavior plan. Parang we need more time, more info dun sa bata. Tapos, ito yung sa pag self-help naman yung ito-target. So, again, visual schedule, ano yung steps, tapos, nandito na rin sa kasama na din kung ano yung gagawin nila para sa pag-assist ng bata.
Okay, thank you, Roel. So a lot of surveys, a lot of evaluation would need to really take place before we can even come up with a home program. And there are a lot of monitoring mechanisms in place in that protocol that they have. And I think they would be able to really go deep into that later during our episode. How about for you, Nella? Do you follow the same steps, or how do you carry out your home program in your center?
Okay, so for us po, I guess yung sinabi po ni Ruel is as comprehensive as it can be, including all the goals. So for us, ang ginagawa po namin at the start, so again, the clinic management provided guidelines accordingly. Either it's from the ECQ, it's from the LGU, or possibly from therapy association. So we use that. We use them to have the informed consent. So what's important here is the content of these consents. Have to explain to the family or the parents what home program is, and that they have the rights and responsibilities. How are we gonna conduct the home program? It has its own risk and benefits. Also, of course, the payment and schedule, it's all included there. And they really have to take time to read on it and discuss it with the therapist. So, as long as everything's been okay, so nag-go yung parent with that, we're gonna provide the home program. So, same with Roel, we have included all of those things, but for us, also is that when you did the provision of home program, you started with really communicating with them. So, kamusta po kayo? Again, what are our concerns? What are your available materials? So, we have included all of those things to our home program. So, when we provided it, so for the day, for this day, for example, we're gonna ask them to read on it, and then we're gonna call again tomorrow, or probably communicate to them. Are all activities included there, or were you able to understand all of it? Do you have any concerns about it? So if they have concerns or hindi nila maintindihan yung mga activities that are included there, it's the decision of the therapist to revise it again. So you have to revise it to make sure that the content are easily understandable by those caregiver who's gonna implement the home program. So it's important that the content is as simple yet effective as much as possible. Kasi it's different when you show it to them as compared to writings, the program itself. So you're gonna give it back again, and then if it's okay already, they understood everything, so we're gonna wait depending on agreed upon. Is it weekly, is it bi-monthly, whichever. So we have to inform them that if and only if they have other questions again during the week, probably they may ask us, the therapist, only in agreed upon schedule. So, kunwari, they have questions. Monday, binigay mo yung home program. They have questions again on a Wednesday. So, you have to inform them, okay, I'll call you on what time we're available, we can communicate, and I'll answer your concerns about that. So we have opened the communications with the family about that. Only, again, agreed upon schedule for both parties, kasi hindi pwedeng anytime they're gonna contact you. So it should be agreed upon, the schedule of communication. So there, so after a week, we're gonna ask again, they're gonna implement it again. So they're gonna do the activities provided there. So after a week, we're gonna do feedback again. So during that implementation, we ask them to document it. Either take a picture, a 30-second video is good, just as long as we can capture the actual participation of the client, what behaviors the client presented, what are maybe the strengths of the client during that time. So we have to emphasize that. What are the strengths of the clients while doing the task? Maybe what are the difficulties that the client has showed during the participation of those activities. And with that, we document it and then use that for feedback. So we schedule the feedback again, either a week, after 2 weeks, or after a month, whichever. But we have to schedule the feedback according to their concerns and based from your documentations. And from there, you have to do the home program according to that and then provide it again. So it's actually a cycle. So yeah, just have to determine what's important at at the time and their concerns, and then include that in your home program. There po.
Naka-mute ka, Ma'am Carol.
You're right. Okay, so again, thank you, Nella and Ruel, for the details that you shared. So I guess now my question would be, because you mentioned that it's important to document and to monitor their progress, are there any guidelines for the documentation? How are the sessions documented in an asynchronous telehealth session? So, meron bang guideline kayong binibigay sa caregiver kung paano best ma-document yung progress nung child? Or, do we resort to susulat nila, or like yung ibang modes na na-mention ninyo, a video, a picture? Maybe you can share those. Ruel? Yeah, Nella.
Okay. For us, ma'am, in terms of documentation, what's important here really is how they're gonna send it to you. Like, is it private? Is it safe? Like, how are they gonna do that? So you have to choose as a therapist a mode where it's private and secure. So either they take a picture, they take a 30-second video, or maybe a minute video. Kasi the size of the video, I think it depends. Kasi minsan yung iba naka-data lang, yung iba they really don't have that connectivity to send a big file. So we have to inform them again of the importance of privacy and confidentiality of all documents shared based from what they signed on the informed consent. So either all of people included in the video are will be documented or kept into a private or secure mode. So for us, we have like they could send it through mail. I think there's a confidential mode there, so at least we could use that for them to send that to us. Pero what's important here is they document. We we reiterate the content of the informed consent. At least all documents will not be shared, and it's still kept private and secure. Yun po.
Same process then. So for documentation, we encourage them to take videos, pictures, tapos specific doon sa target scale. And then, may ginagamit din kami na chart. So, depende kung yung parent ay kayang mag-fill out ng chart, naturuan sila ano yung paano yung gagawin. So, ganun din yung ginagamit namin. Dun sa brushing ng teeth, for example, so dun sa tinuturuan muna namin sila mag-breakdown, and then ano yung level ng prompts. So ito, sample lang sa brushing teeth. Ito yung paano namin minomonitor na yung progress, and then ma-document yung performance ng bata. So ima-match to with a sample video clip habang ginagawa yung task na yon, and then ilalagyan ng mark ng parents whether anong level na ng assistance, and then anong level na ng dun sa steps yung bata. Tapos, ayun, based dun sa feedback ng parent, same nung sa ginagawa sa ni Nela, nagbibigay din kami ng feedback para i-revise or i-modify yung program para mas mag-fit dun sa bata, and then mas madali din i-implement ng parents yung program sa bahay.
Okay, thank you. Maybe what we can really get here is, even if this is alternative, it should still be well documented. It should still be well monitored, depending on what was agreed upon by both parties. So thank you. Now, maybe we could entertain some questions from the audience. One of the viewer asked, how do they get informed consent and hold the goal setting session prior to the creation of the home program? Is it through video call, phone call, or other means? Rovel or Nella?
Okay. All of those means mentioned, we actually use that, sir. So first, if they have an email, we could send to them and then give them a time to read the content of the informed consent, and then call probably the following day if they have concerns about that. Others, if they don't have email, we maybe we can have a phone call, so I have to read all of the contents of the informed consent. Others, if they have like probably a messenger, we use that a messenger since it's the informed consent, but the copy of a signed informed consent should be sent again to a secured mode. So it's either they send it through Gmail, so all of those things. But we send the copy to a means that they could read, or to a means that they could understand the content.
Okay. Rovel?
Ganun din. So, most naman ng mga clients may access sa internet, since yun yung mode ng communication natin sa kanila. So, we send the consent form via email, and then again, if they don't have a printer, they can write down the part of the consent form that they have to sign, and then hindi naman nangyari sa mga clients namin, but although with discussion in our center, kinonsider namin kung i-accept ba ang video na consent form. So parang yung sinabi ni Nela na binabasa niya yung consent form habang kausap yung parent, yung naisip namin, recorded video clip ng parent na sinasabi na they agree with the policies and guidelines stated, and then they agree to undergo with the program. So, yan, hindi pa naman nangyari, pero kinonsider namin yung ganung mode. Pero so far, lahat naman nagagawa yung either magsisend sila ng scanned copy ng consent form or handwritten part nung sa pipirmahan nila.
Right, thank you. I hope lahat tayo makasunod sa consent na yan, because it's really important that both parties are well informed of what is to be expected. I have another question here from one of our viewers. The question is, how about for adolescents? So I guess the question is pertaining to clients or kids who are more independent. Would the same procedures follow? How to monitor, how to document the role of the caregiver? What do you think? Or from your experience?
I think yung role ng caregiver, yung sa describe namin both, more or less, yun, ganun pa rin, magva-vary lang ngayon yung level ng involvement nila. Kasi kung, let's say kung adolescent siya, capable na mag-set ng sariling goal, depende sa pagkakakilala dun sa client, then better na i-include sila sa pag-set ng sa pag-set ng plan nila for the home program. Tapos yung yung parent pa rin mag-handle ng ibang parts like yung sa billing, pagpirma, sila pa din yung pipirma eh. So pag agree dun sa policies and guidelines. So ayun, I think more or less same lang, mag-vary lang yung level ng participation ng parent.
Sa amin, it's also the same. Ang part lang po is like, ask the adolescent if it's okay to take pictures, if they can decide on it. Like, is it okay for us to document while you're doing the task? You ask permission when you're videoing or video recording. But all of those mentioned by Ruel, we also do that po.
Okay, we have another question here. How frequent are the running notes for asynchronous telehealth? Would it be every time the therapist and the caregiver interact, or will the therapist collect documentation from the parents and create additional notes based on those? Ruel or Nella?
Okay. Our documentation po, we actually have a monitoring form first. So, the monitoring form actually includes the following. We have the dates of the HP release. Were they able to provide pictures, videos? Were there any feedbacks provided? And also included there are actually during the feedback, were there any concerns that you have to target? So we have to include that in the monitoring form. What are the concerns? What are your observations? So you have to note everything there in the monitoring form. And that after that, even the status of payment is also included there. And when all of those details are included, we ask the family to actually confirm the content. Like, is it the same as what you're telling us? Same ba dun sa gusto mong iparating yung nakasulat dyan sa feedback? So, we ask them to confirm the contents of that. But in terms of how the frequency, it depends on either weekly ba yung feedback, by monthly ba yung feedback. So, our notes depends on the frequency of feedbacks provided to the clients.
Ayun.
Ruel?
So, the running notes, ganun din. Every time may encounter yung parent, so may kung once a week yung follow-up or kung mag-reach out within the week kung may ipadaan na videos or pictures yung parent dun sa therapist, so depende dun sa therapist kung immediately magre-respond siya or iipunin muna niya for the week tapos during the designated video call saka i-discuss. So ayun, magva-vary. Pero I think magandang ang practice na ayun, i-document din ng therapist yung mga encounter niya, kahit personal yung encounter nila, parang pag sa center din na may notebook or may chart na pinifill out tapos naka-file siya para may record din kung magmo-monitor na ng progress, madaling balikan din yung improvements ng bata. So, parang yung mangyayari lang, magiging digital yung documentation natin. Tapos, ayun, be-based siya sa number na, or sa frequency ng pag-follow up ng parents.
Okay, thank you to our speakers for entertaining those questions. So we'd just like to ask you, I think we've reached the end of this OTalakayan series. So we'd like to ask you for your parting words for our viewers today. Maybe Nella would like to go first. Can you go again, Nella? Naka-mute. Ayan.
So there, if I may add po, in terms of progress monitoring, we use both synchronous and asynchronous. Right? So in terms of the pictures, the video recordings, we use asynchronous type. In terms of the feedback, we do synchronous type. So there. So for final words or parting, I think there it's important for us occupational therapists really to step back and to determine what really matters now at this pandemic. We have to consider as well that we as the professional, we also have occupational disruptions. But in terms of home programs, asynchronous type of service delivery, it's important for us to have a better communication. We have to communicate with the family. We have to determine their goals, what are their concerns really, for us to have a better understanding of their situations. And with that, to have a better home program set for the next release. So there, Tanner said that it is the ability of practitioners to help children and their families design solutions for the challenges of everyday living. So I'll end it with that. Keep safe, everybody.
Thank you, Nella. Can we hear from Ruel?
And i-share ko lang din yung recommended pa na parts ng home program. So, ito yung suggested 2-week plan. So, per day, may daily schedule recommended na gagawin ng bata and ng family. Pwedeng ganito yung format or yung usual na naka per hour. Tapos, ano yung mga gagawing modifications. Tapos, bukod sa bata, isa sa mga naisip namin na maganda rin i-consider is i-monitor yung self-report ng parents. So, ano yung mga difficulties na na-encounter nila, depende dun sa kung ano yung tinuturo nating technique. So, ito pwedeng as specific as paano yung pagbigay ng positive reinforcement or paano yung pagbigay ng mga ng iba't ibang mga behavior strategies. So, nilalagay namin yun dito. And then, ayun, I think yung nangyari sa practice natin ngayon, maganda siyang opportunity para mas makilala pa din natin yung families natin kasi nakafocus tayo dun sa bata usually. Alam ko, we try as we can na maging holistic yung approach, i-involve yung families, pero right now, na-realize ko with telehealth, mas nakikita ko yung dynamics ng family. So, gamitin natin opportunity para i-empower yung parents na they are doing just fine, they are doing their best, and na possible pa rin na ma-address yung skills, ma-develop yung skills ng anak nila kahit nasa bahay sila sa kabila ng pandemic na nangyayari. So, ayun, mas mag-expand yung practice natin from child-focused, magiging family-focused tayo ngayon. So whether synchronous or asynchronous, yun yung pwede nating i-grab na opportunity. So, ayun, I hope may nadagdag ako sa um, knowledge ng mga OTs. Pwede kong i-share dito yung materials checklist kung wala pang kayong kopya nun. I-upload ko dito sa group chat. And i-ask nyo na lang, i-modify na lang ninyo depende sa center or depende sa kung anong gusto pa ninyo mag-gather na info.
Okay, thank you. It's a very informative session. I personally learned a lot. It's not just a home program. So same as what the resource persons keep reiterating, it would really be a holistic approach. We need to consider the house, the resources, the family, particularly those who would really be carrying out our programs. It wouldn't just be a single document that we would just be passing to the families. Bahala na sila kung anong gagawin nila doon. So it's a very informative session. So Carol, maybe you could promote to our viewers our episode 8 so that they could register.
Yes, I'd like to invite everybody to episode 8 of OTalakayan, Telehealth series. The focus of episode 8 would be, ayan, flash natin so you can see. It will be all about occupation-based coaching using telehealth. And these are considerations and applications to pediatric practice. We have our guest speakers for that session would be Dominic Chok and Bernard Carpio. So don't forget to register before May 24 at 11 a.m. So we have the link here, and hopefully you can also share to your other colleagues who are not yet members to join the PAOT membership, so you can also join us in this session. Very informative session, right?
Yeah, it's very informative. So for those who have questions about reruns, because we are receiving certain queries when it comes to that, there would be reruns after all the episodes would be run. So after the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
there will be a rerun. So just wait for further announcements when it comes to that one. And we have also observed that there's really a surge when it comes to the membership application. So the Committee on Membership and Nominations would want to ask for your patience, understanding, to give them time to process your application. So give them time, and then they would be giving you verifications and the link. So it wouldn't really be from the time that you will be applying, the link would be sent right away. So give them some time, give them some leeway when it comes to the processing of your applications. And for those who are not yet members, so kindly invite them to be members so that they could really learn a lot from this Talakayan series. So that's
Yes,
it for episode
that's
10.
it. Yes.